Well, we're pretty keen to have you down. Have you ever been to Australia?
Nah, nope.
Yeah. It's pretty good down here. Like you definitely got to check it out. Like I feel like I don't know. Everyone says they love it down here. I just went to the States last week and visited Denver for a while. So hey, we can do a swap.
Oh yeah. Oh, you was in Denver?
Yeah. The Mile High
Okay.
City.
I got family in Denver.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Nice.
Hell yeah.
Well, we'll definitely have to keep talking about this. But for anyone who hasn't realized already, I'm with the fantastic, great God. He is nice enough to come through. And for those of you who haven't been up to date with his moves, he just released a new single, Mask Man, as well. He's got Wolf Season album as well that came out. And you got two music videos that literally dropped hours before this interview. So
Yeah.
I'm getting the exclusive. You've done tracks with Jada Kiss, Mob Deep. So for anyone who hasn't checked it out, there's lots happening. But man, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
I appreciate you, man. Yeah. Video just dropped. It's called For the Hood, me and Joey Majors. Like you said, we got the Mob Deep joint. We got the joint with Benny. You know, I got joints with Stove God. Everybody, man. Let's get to it. Let's talk about it.
Well, I was interested because, like, how did you get so many, artists in their prime on? Like, I know you're obviously a great rapper yourself, but there's one thing to be skillful enough to be on their level, but there's another thing to actually get them to accept being on tracks with you.
hmm So, basically, it's just a mutual respect, man. I've been putting in the footwork. I've been running around. I've been grinding. I've been putting in the footwork, and then it's like, I know Stovey. I know Benny. So, once they see me working, it was actually Benny that was like, yo, bro, like, Upstate got the light right now. What's up? You ain't where the records at? Because I had stopped, you know what I'm saying? I was getting busy for a minute, then I stopped, I got bored. And then I said, I recently just got back into it, you know what I'm saying? And said, yo, let me go ahead and kill this shit again. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, it was just like, okay, listen, bro, listen to this record. Oh, Stovey, listen to this record. And they're like, damn, Spesh, yo, what's up? Listen to this record. And they're like, oh, now you on your shit. You on your shit right now. So then, it's just mutual. It's been mutual love and respect, man. And then like anybody else, it's just me basically just reaching out, bro, and saying, yo, you know what I'm saying? What's up? I'm here to bite everybody's head off. It's wolf season for me is very, very particular because everybody say they the goat. Well, I'm here to bite the goat's head off. You understand? I'm the one that's going to track the goat down and come back with the goat in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you can hear in the delivery. You feel me? I'm shaking the wolf's hand. I got his blood on the mask. You see the splashes? You understand what I'm saying?
Is
That's
there a
what
goat?
that is.
Do you have a goat that you're really going after? Like, do you have a name to you that's like, the pinnacle? That's what I really want to know.
The pinnacle. Not so much that I'm going after, like that I want blood from that goat particularly, but I mean, the goats are the goat is the goat. Jay is the goat. You know what I'm saying? Like Hove is the goat. Obviously, I would love to do a record with Hove, but the only person that I'm really so no, to answer your question flat out, no, not. I'm just coming for everybody, bro. I want everybody, even the people that I'm on the record with. I'm coming to bite your fucking head off on this record. When I enter and when you send me something to get on, you gotta know that you're gonna get energy, you're gonna get feist, you're gonna get fire when I send them verses back. And I'm not playing, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people be like, oh no, it's a friendly battle. Nah, it ain't friendly with Great God. I'm coming for blood. Yeah.
How do the artists react that you're on tracks with? Like, you're obviously quite open about this, right? So, like, how
Mhm.
do they obviously, like, hip hop is competitive, like, it's a sport and everyone's competitive. The best are competitive, but how do they react when it's like, oh, we're going for blood?
I feel like that they take it and they say, Well, first of all, a lot of them don't feel the way I feel. They like, oh, yo, come on, let's do a record. It's it's all fun and games. But for me, I want the world to know that I'm the best. I'm the one that you need to be watching. So for me, it's a different standpoint. A lot of them is already established in who they are and who they are in their careers. So for me, I got an extra show out, right? I gotta really show them, right, like that. Nah, hold on. Who the fuck was that in that mask? Who was that? Who was the second one? Who was the one on that record talking crazy like that? So, and when I get the record back, of course, they be like, damn, God, like you had it, like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, words, son, like that's how you feeling, and because I let it be known, even in the rap, that even on the record that I'm more with you, I'm gonna let it be known, like, now I'm here for a reason. And I think that they got it. At the end of the day, they respect it, but they don't retweet it. They don't. You understand what I'm saying? They're not throwing it in their story either. Like a lot of those raps that I do with these artists, they might alley-oop it once, but they ain't really, pushing that racket like that. Cause I'm a little different when I come on a feature. You know what I'm saying? They used to beating the feature up. You know what I'm saying? And then my goal is to say, damn, bro, yeah, some was nice, but who was that? You know what I'm saying? I watch the YouTube comments and I see them say, oh, we came for Jadakiss or we came for Prodigy, which is cool. It's all love. But I'd be damned if they don't say, well, but who was that though? Like, he held his own on there. So that's my only objective.
Well, I was actually going to ask you, because obviously I noticed you have a lot of features on your tracks. And so is that the goal? Is that why you invite people on, is because you're like ready to show off your skill set?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm ready to show the skill set. I'm ready for them to know that, listen, Great God is on a mission. This time next year, the ones that they was talking about this year and last year, they're gonna be talking about Great God at that time, because he's gonna outwork you. His visuals is going to be better than yours. The lyrics is going to be superior. So that's what they got. That's what I want the world to come to know for Great God. That's what my legacy. When I leave, I want them to know, oh yeah, he came and he conquered. Like he did what he said he was. And he is who he say he is, more importantly.
Well, I'm interested to know, because you mentioned early on that you got bored. And now you're back. Tell me about that time, because you were an artist before. You obviously took a break. What happened there?
So I took a break because I just felt like I always wanted this time to come back around. And I know, obviously, everything that goes around it, life is a 360. So I knew real rap and lyricism was going to be on a comeback. I just didn't know when it was going to come back. So I've been waiting for it to come back. So in between time, I started doing movies and I started, sharpening my skill with the camera. I went and bought a couple Red cameras and I started a couple TV series. I started filming the Bars documentary, which is Buffalo, Albany, Rochester, Syracuse, which is highlighting all of the elite MCs from the upstate area, so that they know, okay, yeah, Griselda kicked down the door, but it's a lot more going on up here too. So, that's like the A&R's handbook. Bars documentary is the A&R's handbook to who is who and what's what and who you better be watching and who you better go get next. So in between that, I just was doing that. I was just doing the movie thing and just really just honing my skills and just sharpening and just waiting for the day that lyrics matter, because at some point I feel like that it got to the point where lyrics ain't matter no more.
Because what year was it when you took your break?
I believe it was like 15, 16, around there.
And how long were you rapping prior to that point?
Prior to that point, I was probably 5-6 years.
Okay. So, I mean, so it was like you took almost like 50%, like, the time you were putting in and the time you took out was almost the exact same.
Right. Damn near. Yeah.
Did you have people going, why? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, of course. I had people saying why. I had people that was obviously disappointed, like, damn, he just jump in, he jumps out, he gets hot. And once he gets hot, he tells us he's gonna release something, then it never comes out. You understand? So, and then that was another thing for me is that I'm like my worst critic. So I got hard drive after hard drive. I got nine hard drives right here in front of me. So, and it's just like, you know, I want the music. Now, I don't want my worst fear is having the music fall on deaf ears. So I just really wanted to learn and forget everything that I knew in regards to marketing, in regards to getting myself out there. I wanted to really just take that and say, okay, that's old. That's not going to work no more. It's a new era. It's a new day. And I wanted to relearn everything that I thought that I knew and apply it in my resurgence into this situation.
It's an interesting fear, though, because most people I speak to have the opposite fear, that they'll get caught out, that, you know, it's like the imposter syndrome. And
right.
Your fear is that people won't listen to your music. I wonder where like that comes from, because that is, you know, a very different feeling than a lot of artists have.
Yeah. So for me, I always, that definitely, like, I just did a record called GREA8GAWD, right? And I say, my core fans say they waiting for you. I dropped my best shit when GREA8GAWD do. You understand? And the very first bar in that record, I say, to fall on deaf ears is my worst fear. You know what I'm saying? So me, that fear is real for me, because it's like, I know I got, like, I'm the Lord of the aux chord. I'm not great God for nothing. I didn't give myself that attribute and that name. So my thing is like, I don't want to give them this beautiful body of work and mismarket it and have it not be heard and have it not be seen. And everybody else is like, nah, just put it out. It'll catch on. It'll catch on. And I'm like, damn, nah, but these videos and this music, I'm putting my heart into this shit. This is not a fly-by-night thing for me where it's like, oh, he one of them artists that just get on the mic and say anything. You understand? I'm giving you my life. This is literally life, pages torn out of my life book. You understand? And you know, we only get one lifetime, so that book is only but so big. If I tear out all my pages and nobody listening, then what I'm gonna do? Repeat and say it all again? Nah, like, you know, I gotta make sure I got the attention. And I feel like right now that I got the attention.
So does that mean that, like, you feel like you've got a certain number of projects in you? Like, does it feel like you've got a point where, like, you're like, you know what, this is it? Like, you know, as you said, like, your book is only so big, and then at that point you can't you don't want to retell it. So I'm interested to know, like, do you see a lifespan in terms of your career, like in terms of a time frame or album frame, or is it just seeing how far it goes?
Nah, I see it. I see it because, you know, when I listen to artists and I feel like that they regurgitating rhymes and the story is always the same. Like, it's, you hear it, bro. You're an enthusiast, so you hear it. It gets to a point where they put out records and it's like, damn, you said that in the last record, or you always say that in that record. How many times are you going to refer to getting shot? How many times are you going to cook the work up? Without you understand? Like, come on, son. Like we hear it all the time, and then they lean on that, and that be their whole thing is that, okay, well, we heard that, but guess what? GREA8GAWD does. GREA8GAWD is going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly. And I'm going to give it to you in a story form. Like, my hook is going to match my verse. My verse is going to match my hook. I'm going to stay on the course. And I know one thing that's what makes me different from these other artists, because they just be rapping. And a lot of this shit don't even be true. It'd be secondhand shit that they learned or heard from somebody or saw somebody else do. So for me, it's like, you know, it may sound cliche, but my shit is just a little different, bro. But I feel like that when the people hear it, they know that it's different. They can tell that, oh, nah, yeah, he did that. You know what I'm saying? And then again, knowing better and not doing better is the ultimate sin, right? So it's like, you know, I can't be held accountable for that in which I don't know. But if I know better and I don't teach the people or tell them something different, then I'm 1,000 times worse. So I don't want to tell them the same thing. I want them to listen to this book, and I want them to go, I want them to be ready for the next page and ready, because it ain't all glamour and glitz. It wasn't always, you know what I'm saying, where it is right now. So I want them to travel with me through the ups and downs, the vulnerabilities, and say, oh nah, he different as an artist. He's a different guy. He's different. Yeah, let me turn my phone on.
No,
One second, bro. Let me just.
So I was going to ask you, do you have a moment in your life that really changed things? Because obviously you're talking about these things in songs, but is there like for you where you reflect back and you're like, you know, there's just this moment where like I saw, you know, the right turn or the left turn, and it just changed the way I view life, the way that my career has gone, the way that my life has gone?
Oh, a lot of, yeah, definitely. So in my career, right, in what I do besides rap, right, I had a very successful career at what I did besides rap, right? And that's a career that a lot of people don't get a success rate that I got. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of people that did what I did, they don't end up where I end up. They end up locked up. They end up in jail. They end up dead. So that, it was just, you know, one day it really just woke me up. One day I really woke up and I really was like, nah, if I first of all, I've been 1 foot in, 1 foot out my whole life. And I said, you know what, if I take all of the time and I put that into music, or I put that into these movies or something, of course I can accomplish what I want to accomplish. You understand? I just was telling myself that this is all I know. This is all I'm good at. This is what I'm best at over here. But that wasn't the truth at all. What I was best at is anything that I say I'm gonna do, or anything that I can conceive, I can achieve. You understand? So I had to stop telling myself that, oh, I'm the world's best hustler, or I'm this and that, and that's all I know, and that's all I'm gonna do, because then I will be foolish. You know what I'm saying? I got too much knowledge to continue on. So to answer your question, it was like, surely it was like it wasn't even a near death experience. It wasn't a I almost got locked up experience. It was just quit playing with God, bro. Quit playing. Go and show the world that you great. Like literally that you great, that you definitely different than all of these other artists. Go and show the world, bro, and do something else with yourself before you be locked up somewhere thinking to yourself, damn, I could have been this or I could have been that, because that's a regret that I don't want to live with. I couldn't live with that regret.
Do you remember how you got involved in that mindset and that lifestyle?
In the other lifestyle?
Yeah.
You know, so that lifestyle came from it just watching other people that I admired and watching the things that they have and watching the lifestyle that they attain for themselves and wanting that for me. You understand? And saying to myself, yo, I could do that, you know? And then my man put me in a position upstate New York to where it was like, yo, boy, come in, you know, you can have this shit. My man Shiggity, like, yo, you can have, I wasn't even upstate New York yet. And I went upstate and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what this is. And it was, you know, me being, like, I never drank in my life, right? I never drank, I never smoked, I never been high, I never drank, I never smoked a cigarette, I never did nothing. So I was always on extra on my P's and Q's. And I'm always, like, I was on point, guaranteed I was on point at all times, right? So that was another reason why I lasted in the situation I lasted in. But to thoroughly answer your question, it was just like, just watching other people, man, and just saying like, damn, son, like, yo, I want the big car. I want some jewelry. You understand what I'm saying? I want 10 iceberg sweaters. When I go shopping, I don't want one. I want 5 or 10 of them. I want to go for the whole week. I want to go longer than everybody else that got this shit. I'm gonna go the whole, like, I used to go buy, when iceberg sweaters and shit was $1,000, we was buying 13 of them, 14 of them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and that's another thing, like, people know that. They know, oh, he not just talking. Green Lantern is you go watch a Green Lantern interview, he say, yo, Great God came out on stage. He had 3 garbage bags full of iceberg Coogee, shit that motherfuckers would die for, Avorexes. He dumped this shit out on the stage and he walked all over it because his single was called It's Nothing. Whatever I want, I get it. It's nothing, nigga. You know what I'm saying? That was the hook. So that's why my story is a little different, bro. Like everything, when we talk about authenticity and being genuine, the people that know me, they know, oh nah, like his shit is different. His shit is different.
So let me ask why you never drink or you never smoke, or like, because especially like in hip hop, that's huge. Literally every, like 99% of artists, that's like all they talk about, right? They talk about drinking, they talk about smoking. But why did you make that decision not to?
So I had an uncle, and he was deep into Islam, and he in the 5% Nation, right? And that's where I got the attribute Great God. So it initially started there, right? It was like, okay, I don't want to contaminate my body. I only get one body, and my body is my temple. So the lessons taught me that you get one body and you got one temple. You better take care of it. You understand? So I never drank or smoke. As I got older, and I would tell ladies and females like, "Oh, I never drank or smoked in my life," and they would be like, "What?" Like, "Oh, we love that," and they melting like warm butter on hot popcorn. Then I said, "Oh, I say no more." You feel me? Like it was like a fucking accolade. Like damn, like, oh word, you don't do that. Oh, you different. And I always want to be different. That was my whole motto, right? Was to be different, not to be able to say I'm not like y'all. So that made me different. And then to this day, now, so that was the first stage, was Islam. The second stage was the females. The third stage is, why start now? Like, it's over now. Like, there ain't no reason to start smoking and drinking now, just to, and then I watch my boys in the studio, they literally setting their money on fire. Like, literally, you buy the weed, right? You put it in a blunt, and what you do, you set it the fuck on fire. I don't understand that. I'm trying to save 3-4 million. I don't understand that. I don't understand watching these dudes smoke a pound in 2 weeks, and the bud costs $3,000 a pound. I got other people that I could take care of. I got little cousins I can look after if they need something like that. I got way better ways to spend my bread than to be getting high and getting drunk. And then I used to watch my men get high. All of my men get high, and they'll be in the studio, right? And they'll get high, and every other bar they want to come out smoke, come out smoke, come out smoke, come out smoke. And I'm like, nah, that ain't it. Mind you, I done did 7 records. By the time this dickhead wake up from being asleep, from being high, I done did a whole EP because he high. And I'm up doing my shit. You understand what I'm saying? And then why did you spend the money to get high just to go to sleep? It just never made sense to me.
Because I've always wondered, because like, I don't know, for me personally, part of my own creative process is like, I want to be 100% me. Like I want to be in like, straight thinking, well rested. I don't want things affecting me. Right. So it's interesting that you bring that up as well, that like for you, like you can smash out like an actual EP in the same time that like people are, not feeling 100%.
Right. Oh yeah, nah. Like, bro, that's one thing that I did. Even and even during my hiatus, when I took my break, I still was recording every day. You understand? Like I still was getting busy. You see this mic right here, right? And I'm recording myself. I'm right like this. So I'm definitely gonna do more records. While they high and while they knocked out sleep, I'm doing all type of shit, man. I got it all done. You know what I'm saying? Way before they can even think. But like I said, by the time they wake up, I literally got 5 records done.
Yeah, I mean, it's always impressive that like you can do it so, like anyone can do it so quickly. Like,
right.
I remember I tried to write an intro for this podcast, like with the intro music, and obviously I'm not a rapper, and I tried to sit down and write something, and it sucked. I hate it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to chop up some clips from the audio that I get instead. So I was like, Okay, that was a real representation of like this shit ain't easy. Like, and to do a lot of it quickly is even harder.
Right, right. It is for me too. Like, so my recording process is when PR Dean send me a beat, right? Because he do a lot of the A&R in my projects, right? So when Coach Dean send me a beat, if I'm gonna know within the first 30 seconds, if I don't come up with 4 bars in 20 seconds, 30 seconds, like literally, like not even a minute, I'm already knowing like, okay, if I gotta struggle with it, then I'll leave it alone. But if I hear it and in the first 30 seconds, I got my first couple bars, then it's off to the races. Then I just need 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes. All of the records that you hear from that I did, those verses was like, like 12-minute verses. Like take me 10, 15 minutes to do them verses. But that comes from experience, and then it just comes from shit being real. So I'm really not. I'm not lying. I'm not grasping for bars. I'm just going into my mental Rolodex and I'm recollecting. Let me take that. Let me grab that part of my life. Let me go back to this year and grab that. Let me grab this part, and there you got it. Then you get a Great God verse. If y'all want a Great God verse, contact Coach Dean. Yeah, he'll get you right.
Well, I'm interested to know because part of what you talk about is authenticity and being real. How do you feel about artists who are obviously putting on a show? Because obviously music is entertainment and there is an element of like showmanship or like, I'm going to play a character. I'm going to essentially act a certain way to essentially be successful. How do you feel about artists who have that type of mindset?
So I used to feel a way about that, but then I said to myself, well, you know what? Some of the people that I looked up to was lying too. Some of that, what they was giving us was secondhand smoke too. You can still get high on secondhand smoke, right? So to answer your question, I used to feel like if you ain't living it, first of all, let me say this. I don't want to hear it myself personally. I'm not going to play it if I don't believe it. If I believe what you say, I like you and I'll work with you. If I don't believe you, of course, I might bop it. I might bop to it. And I might laugh with my homie, be like, you hear this dickhead? You hear this shit he talk about? So like, we know him. You know he not like that, but it sound good. And the radio played it 3 times a day. I heard it on YouTube. I heard it on the radio. You know the 3 stages. Once you hear it, all these different places, now it's embedded in your brain. Subconsciously, you can go along with it and you know it. And that's how you learn wax flows without even being a fan. So right now, I just feel like everybody's lying. So if I didn't like, if I judged the artist by the authenticity and feeling like they did what they said they did, I wouldn't have to, I would be very few people that I would actually be able to say that I like. And that's why I love Spesh. That's why I love 38 Spesh, because I know for a fact what the fuck he talking about is real. I know and understand that what he say he did, he did. When he say he drove those cars, he drove those cars. When he say he had this much money and bags of money, I saw it. I know he did this shit. You understand? So that excites me. That makes me call his phone and say, yo, boy, you talking that shit. You feel me? And we do that with each other. Like, yo, you talking that shit, my boy. And I don't have no problem with calling him. Benny too. Like, if I know it's real, I love it, love it. When when it's fake, it's like, it's cool. I don't have no qualms, and I'm not gonna beat up or badger nobody about it, because the whole world is faking in my eyes. I don't know none of y'all. It's certain things that y'all saying y'all did in the areas that I've been in. I would know what the fuck you was doing if you was who you said you was, because you would have had to know me at that point. We would have bumped heads if you was doing all that shit you said you was doing. You know what I'm saying? So, I just try not to be judgmental, man. I love the young gods. I love what they're doing. I feel like they feeding their families. They feeding their mothers. You understand what I'm saying? They moving their mamas out the hood. I wish they would be a little smarter. with the way that they make music, but everybody faking, man. Everybody is, everybody is embellishing with their rhymes, and we just gotta live with it. It's WWF, man. I feel like Gene Okerlund, man. Like that's just how I go.
Well, it's interesting because there are obviously stories of artists who get in trouble for, saying one thing in their music and then trying to create such an image that they get involved with the wrong people, that they're like overcompensate too much. That they're like, that they're like, I got to prove that I'm a certain way, even though the things I'm talking about I never did. And so they start associating with people that they probably shouldn't be associating. So I think it's like a balance of like, hey, you can be like, you can put on a show, but there's a smart way to do it. And then there's like, the dangerous way.
Right. And I agree, man. Like I've seen it happen. I've seen it. I've seen the dudes that turned blood when they was 40. We know them. You know them. You hear them. I know them for a fact. And you want to wait till you 40 to start gangbanging and acting like that you this guy? And really, what the goal is to get out the hood. Like what I'm going to hang in somebody's lobby for all day, every day at this age and at this day and time. Like it's counterproductive. But like you said, people will try to overcompensate and act like they this and that. And you see where it gets us. You see where it got 6ix9ine. You see where let's show the young guys something different. If somebody is an asset, you keep them away from that. You don't put them in the fire. And so that's just a responsibility that us rappers have to start looking at. But the young guys, they glorify the violence. You see them, they got guns in every video, and all they talking about. Every record is the same record with them. Drilling, killing, stealing, and trying to make $1 million. Like that's the whole 16 bars or 12 bars or whatever they choose to do. So, so now the guys that's older and the older guys, in order to keep the attention of the young guard, now I gotta act like you. But GREA8GAWD ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna show them something different, and I'm gonna bring them into my world. And if they not in my world and they not comfortable being in my world, then that's just what it is. But I refuse. I'm not gonna go back to doing what I used to do just to sell no records or even, make you even believe that's cool. It's not cool, huh? It's not.
Well, I literally took the words out of my mouth. I was going to ask you, why do you think it's portrayed as cool? Like, why is it cool? Because we could, as an industry, turn around and go, do you know what's cool? Being successful, making money legitimately, making sure that you look after the people around you, making sure you look after your family, making sure that you're set for intergenerational wealth and success, and you teach the right lessons. We could do that as an industry and be like, you know what, this is what we push. So I'm interested to know why, the negative behavior is projected as cool.
I'll tell you why the negative behavior is cool, because that's all that they show. That's all that they push. If I made a song, I got records that's all the way positive, right? All the way positive. If I would have came back in this game and gave them what I wanted to give them, I would not be where I'm at right now, because they're not pushing that agenda. It's an agenda. We know that. So, of course, they think it's cool when the young guy got this much money all up his hand, all this much money. He talk about, I ain't went to school. My mother told me I would never be shit, but look what I accomplished. So, of course, a young mind that's impressionable is going to see that, and he going to say, well, goddamn. Next thing you know, a motherfucking kid that had it all and start saying, my parents never did nothing for me, just to appeal, because that's what Lil Durk and whoever else is that they love, that's their narrative, and that's what they saying. So in order to get on, that's what they feel like they have to do, because they definitely can't come out with a record like I Know I Can Be Who I Want to Be, like Nas' record that I love so much. Nas is my favorite MC. But guess what? If Jay-Z would have made that record, we would be in a different ball game. Because if Hov, when he had the podium and he had the voice of the people, he was saying, What you trying to kick knowledge? He made us think, oh no, the knowledge. What the fuck is you doing on this record, Nas? What the? Remember he literally said, "What you trying to kick knowledge?" Like as if that was a bad thing, God. So now, guess what? Now, I know I can't be what I want to be. Gets pushed to the back burner, and Molly Percocet gets pushed to the forefront. We know what it is.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's no real way out other than to try and rise to the top and then share your influence now. But I think you're definitely right though, that you definitely see older artists starting to really try and educate. I feel like that's what we're seeing a lot of is like, artists who've been, this is probably the first generation of hip hop where we've had, artists start rapping as 16-year-olds and now they're 40. Like it is a long period of time. So they've seen the evolution. They've seen the change in the time. So it is interesting to see that the older generation are trying to educate, but it's like, again, hip hop is like almost its worst enemy because it's a young person's game. Like everyone's like, nah, man, you're old. Like I don't listen to that shit.
Right. Oh yeah, and they'll tell you that fast too. The young guy, like I always say, the young guys, they don't want to hear nothing from nobody that's over 20 years old. If you over 20, don't try to tell these little dudes nothing. They don't want to hear it. But I feel like that true hip hop and true lyricism and lyricists is coming back. It's back for sure. It's back. And I feel like that the young guys are starting to adapt to that. And now they want to, now they are listening a little bit. I'm hearing some of the drill rappers that's putting together their words and really trying to put their penmanship down. So I get it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that we doing our job with that. And I feel like that it's slowly changing over to where, they listening a little bit more. It's just gonna, it really, what it really is gonna take? It just takes somebody from their generation to say, yo, shorty, we don't got to talk about drilling and killing it and stealing every verse. You understand? But they do know and understand too that the beef record is what's going to take them to the top. So if okay, I can make a love record about this girl I really love. In my heart, I love her, and that's where my heart is at. But I'm beefing with John around the corner, and if I talk about shooting him the fuck down, which one is going to get more views? Which one going to get me to an M faster? So of course they going with that. Of course they going to show. It's a catch-22, bro.
Well, in sales, they say that like negativity sells, 2 to 3 times as much as positivity. They figured it out.
Right.
Like, so that's what we see in social media is like negative comments go to the top. People react to controversy more than they react to like, positivity. And so like the same thing. Like I definitely understand that like to sell, you got to have some people going, what the fuck are they talking about? Like, who's this? They want the infighting. That infighting is like, that's what sells. That's why trash TV is people watch it because it's like morons arguing with one another. And it's people are obsessed with that.
Nah, for sure. That's all they want to hear, bro. You know it. Like, and the narrative won't change until, like I said, one of the younger representatives say, yo, we could do something else. It's time to do something different. Then when they say that, then it's go time. Imagine Little Durk coming out saying, I'm not gonna make no more drug references. I'm not gonna make no more shooting references. Do you know how many people would change? Like if that's what it is, if we say we ain't beefing no more, oh man, like of course, but you and I both know that ain't gonna happen no time soon. So we stuck with what we stuck with,
And a label wouldn't let that happen anyway.
Nah, label ain't even listen. The label gonna tell you now we're not even pushing that. You're not getting no marketing budget. Matter of fact, sit your ass on the shelf for a minute. You're not getting no marketing budget.
I think that's what adds the complexity to it, is like you as an artist have your own integrity, but once you like sign a deal, it's like, all right, you're popping, but the label at the end of the day has control. And like you said, if you don't play the game, they can be like, all right, that's all right. You can wait down there, have a couple of years by yourself, and let's see how you feel.
Right. Yeah. Stay down. Go sit in the bleachers for a minute, and then they take you right off the floor seat, put you in the bleachers, and you obviously you know where you want to be at. You want to be at a triple referee. Don't nobody want to be in the nosebleed, baby. So that's just how it go, man. You know, that's how it go. That's life for us right now as MCs. Because believe you, even me, bro, I'm a victim of that too. It's like all of my records. You hear me talking that shit on these records. You done heard them, and of course I would rather be given a different message, knowing what I know and understanding what I know. Because knowing and understanding is two different things. The understanding is the ability to see things for what they are, not for what they present themselves to be. The rap game is what they present themselves to be. You understand what I'm saying? But I know and understand that if I came and gave them exactly what I wanted to give them, it's not gonna pop like it's popping. But now I would be dead wrong if I get the podium. Once I gotta get on the podium, and then I start mixing the medicine with the food, because you can't feed a baby steak, right? So once I get to the podium, then I will be dead wrong if I don't give them a different message. So right now, you know, I'm a play the game a little bit, but I still tell them the pros and the cons. That's why you got to get my solo EP is called God Talk. It's my first ever project, ups and the downs. It ain't all gonna be just, you know, banging and shooting and getting money. It's real scenarios and situations in that project.
Well, it's interesting because like I also think that, you know, in order to get to that point that like, you know, you just gotta, you do have to play the game. Like it's not, you just won't sell if you don't at least kind of go along with kind of where the industry is at and what you got to do to keep up with the trends.
Right. Nah, yes, mandatory. You better listen, because I mean I sat with shit in these hard drives for years because I didn't want to play the game. But now now what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna never give y'all this beautiful music. Nah, I'm gonna play the game and then I'm gonna change the game. Play it, change it.
Do you have a perspective on where the industry will go in the next, 5 to 10 years? Obviously you're back, but like, do you have, a perception of where you think it's going to head?
I think that it's going to head to where we saying that we want it to be. Where I'm saying I would like for it to be. I think it's going to head to even more of the young people embracing the lyricism and saying, damn, we could, let's talk about something else. We talked about this for decades. You understand what I'm saying? Like the wave that's in right now. I mean, damn, bro, every song is literally the same record. It's a formula. It's got to be easy to write that shit. I always say, I wish I was from Atlanta. If I was from Atlanta, I would do an EP. I could do an EP every day, because that stuff that they talking about, not just Atlanta, but just the South in general, that, they not really putting in a hell of a lot of, pen work. No, not the ones that's popping anyway. So I always say, like, man, if I could do that, boy, I would do that shit. You understand what I'm saying? That shit would be easy, but I feel like that it is coming back to where they respecting it more. Like, I'm watching G Herbo do records with Benny. You understand? I'm watching collabs take place that I would normally see. So that's a great sign that the shorties is listening, and they know, like, okay, all right, old head, you got some shit with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in a weird way, I think COVID did hip hop. Like it reminded people how important it is lyrics. Like it was almost like COVID was the circuit breaker, and it's so weird to say that, like, that it feels like that was the beginning of, like, the new kind of wave of, like, all right, we got to bring back lyrics and we got to start talking about what's happening in life and we got to start talking about, what we see as opposed to just, like you said, the formulaic song.
Right. I mean, that record that Lil Baby did, that was a great, like, I thought that the young, to see him do that record that he did during the COVID and the riots and all that, that was a good sign. You know what I'm saying? COVID was definitely a gift and a curse. You know what I'm saying? I lost a lot of people during COVID. So, it definitely did more harm than good. But yeah, I feel like that it really I agree with you, it made people buckle down and start giving different perspectives and records and putting more thought process into what we was preaching and what we were saying.
Yeah, well, let me say, condolences about losing a lot of people because it was a tough time for a lot of us. And yeah, I mean, I'm just thankful that we're kind of out of it now.
Right. Yeah.
I did want to ask you though, because we've been speaking about authenticity, we've been speaking about the truth, and we've been talking about, staying true to yourself. I'm sure you get this question a lot. So for anyone that's listened, I do apologize, but I got to ask for myself. But like the mask, obviously it protects your identity. Obviously, I've seen in interviews that we're talking about, you want to represent for your lyrics and not for what you look like. But I'm interested to know how that plays in like being true to yourself and the authentic part of, what we've been talking about.
So for me in the mask, which let me add that mask was pre-COVID. You know what I'm saying? I was doing that before, but I think it.
Sorry, man. I think you just cut out.
Trying to give the people because I and that what I'm saying is way more important than anything. Just listen. Just listen. You know what I'm saying? Take all of this away. Take the watch off. Take the rings off. Just listen. Listen to the message. You know what I'm saying? Listen to what's being said and not who's saying it. That's a jewel that I learned when I was young. From my uncle, like you can learn a lot if you just listen and pay attention to what's being said and stop trying to judge what's being said and who's telling you what's being told. So that's for me, that's what the mask represents my anonymity too, because guess what? When I'm done doing a show, I could jump dead in the crowd if I got a different shirt on and watch my man perform too. You understand? I could go to a restaurant and eat. You understand what I'm saying? With my family. I could do all of that. So yeah, I still feel like that I still feel like that I'm being authentically me. What you feel, how you feel about the mask?
I find it interesting. I always look at it as a fan, right? So I'm always like, I want to know who this guy is. That's always like that's the version of like the fandom of like, I want to know who you are. And then it's like me being a step closer to the artist that I like. And so there's like a separation of like, it's almost like in a weird way, we're not trusted. Like, I don't know, that's kind of how I feel. But then again, like, amazing artists have done that before. MF Doom didn't share his identity. And so it's like, it's not the recipe for success. It's not the make or break. But like, I think for us as fans, especially now, we're always like, give me more. And now that we know that that's a line, I think you're always going to be like asked about it. Is like, they're going to go, would you ever? Like, how are we going to get you to show your face? Or like, when are we going to know who you actually are? And I think that's all like part of the fandom and people wanting to know more about everybody's life.
Yeah. That's interesting. I never thought about it like that, where you said that you feel like the trust part. That's interesting. I never thought about it like that. But yeah, man, but eventually I will take it off because I feel like I said, this time next year, I'm going to be the one that they're talking about. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to be the topic of conversation next year. But when the summertime comes, it's Great God. That's what they talk about. Oh, you hear that record, The Great God? You heard that shit, that Master Man with Billionaire Boy Scout? You heard that record with Rock Marcy? You understand what I'm saying? At some point, I will take it off. I'm gonna take it off, and I'm gonna show. But when I take it off, I'm gonna give you the documentary, so then you can say, "Oh, now I get it. Now I get it." Because if I take it off prematurely, it's like judgment. A lot of things come into play. So, for me, it's I don't want to alienate y'all. I don't want y'all to feel like I'm hiding from y'all. You understand? Or I don't want y'all to feel like what you said, because that's very interesting. I never even thought about it from that aspect. But yeah, man, it's really just it's a situation where I really just want them to pay attention to these lyrics. I want them to pay attention to the darts, because that shit is different. You know what I'm saying? That shit that I'm giving them on them records is different. And I really concentrate on that first, and then but it's gonna come off. It's gonna come off. I don't want to get paid to take it off. Somebody asked me on an interview last week, like, yo, what if somebody offered you this? Nah, it's not about the money. I'm like, the money is gonna be there. The money's always been there. Like, like that ain't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? So that's not gonna do it. When I'm done and I'm ready to give you this documentary, this and the documentary is damn near done. The documentary is awesome. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very informative. It's very well shot. It's done. Like, my man fired a director. We working on that as we speak. So it's gonna come a time where the master's gonna come off. You know what I'm saying? Until then, welcome to the adventures of Great God.
Hey man, can you do me a favor? Can you turn off your video and then turn it back on again? I think it just froze. I want to see if we can get it back.
Stop video. Gotcha. It's good?
Yeah, we're good. All right, there we go.
Okay.
But yeah, see, it's interesting because now that I think about it, with the mask, now you're between a rock and a hard place, right? Because you've committed to wearing it, and and it's about the lyrics, and it's almost in a way, now that people want it, it's like, do you want to give in? And do you want to, like, you know what I mean? Like, now those questions, like, I know that you wearing the mask is not about money. Like, I knew that before you said that story. If someone asking you how much money would it take, it's not about money. Because if it was, you wouldn't be wearing it right now, if that's all it was. So like,
right.
So it's just interesting, like, for me, looking at your journey and looking at who you are as an artist and as a person, to be like, I wonder when that breaking point will be of like, I'm going to take it off. And I think almost, and it feels like you kind of know, but you kind of don't know. There'll be a feeling when you're ready. And so there's no like time frame. It's just like, you just know.
Nah, it's not a time frame. I'm going to just be on stage one day, and I'm going to take it off and throw it in the crowd and let somebody put it in you understand what I'm saying? Freeze that thing. You know what I mean? Put it up, baby. And I'm going to let somebody have it, man. And then I'm gonna tell a story. Like at that point, when I take it off, remind me, I'm giving you the jewel. I'm gonna take it off at a show in front of thousands and thousands of people, and then I'm gonna give them the documentary on the stage behind me on the screen.
How long is the documentary, out of interest?
The documentary is like 5 years long. Nah, it's like an hour and 40 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It's like an hour and 40 minutes, but it really, like, we're trying to chop it up to it might be like a 3-part documentary, because it's just so many different layers. Like, literally, it's so many different layers. I couldn't possibly sum up all of the shit that I've done and been through in an hour and 45 minutes. They're gonna want more, it's ups, it's downs, it's good times, it's bad times, it's sad times. You understand? So, it's a lot to it. It's a lot to it.
what made you decide to do it? Like, I think we all kind of have our own story, right? But they're like there's a difference between, hey, I could do a story of my life, and actually being like, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get, people to help me make the film. I'm going to reach out to people. Like, we're actually going to shoot it. So what made you be like, I got to do this?
So honestly, I always had a camera, right? So I got tapes and tapes. I'm talking about VH, like tapes of events that happened in my life. But so I feel like I always knew that I was living a life, and I lived a lifestyle that would intrigue people and that people would like to see, because they get a little bit of it in the music, but imagine me narrating it, you know what I'm saying? And really, digging and telling you why this and why that and how this and how that and all of that. So I feel like that it wasn't a point where I said it just popped in my head. I feel like I always knew that this shit that I'm doing is worthy of a fucking movie. You know what I'm saying? Like this lifestyle that I'm living right here, I gotta tell this shit. You wouldn't believe it if you know what I'm saying? Because they would. Like I said, now we said, right, everybody in the industry is telling the same story. Everybody, but when I'm telling you the story about buying 15 iceberg sweaters, and the man in the store tells you, yeah, and I show you the pictures, yeah, and I show you the video, yeah, that's different. Because these dudes, they throwback Thursday pictures don't look like they were selling 15, 20 bricks. But I hear you rapping about it. And then these rappers confuse themselves. They lie so much to themselves. And the worst lie that you could tell is the one that you tell to yourself, right? They lie so much that they'll tell you they was broke. And then they'll tell you that they had bricks. So which one? Because if you was broke and you was telling me you was broke in 2014, and then in 2019, you telling me you was rich and you was so sad, I'm confused, God. I'm confused. But I feel like the show and improvement, when you see these things that I'm talking about, and you see like the pictures don't lie, the video don't lie. You understand? The people can lie. I can get anybody and say, yo, make up a story, say, yo, I remember when GREA8GAWD came through in the 850 Beamer and da-da-da-da-da. The nigga was 12 years old. He couldn't even see over the steering wheel. I could find an old junkie in the hood to do that. But when you see this shit on camera, on Killer Cam, it's different. You understand? It's like, oh, nah, okay, yeah, he that guy. Oh, that's GREA8GAWD. Oh, makes sense. That's what they gonna say. Yo, bro, that's what they gonna say when the documentary's. Oh, I should have knew. Who else but him?
Well, man, it sounds like you're gonna have to keep adding to it, because obviously, you haven't reached the end of your career, so it sounds like you're just gonna have to keep adding.
Yeah, we're gonna keep adding. Like it's a never ending story, man. I was even thinking about God. I was even thinking about just starting to break it down into a micro series, because the attention span of the average person is this little, So I was actually thinking about starting to do like 3-minute segments and 4-minute episodes. You know what I'm saying? And making 1,000 of them. You know what I'm saying? Like literally. Just take over the YouTube or put it on GREA8GAWD.com and just give them pieces and pieces and pieces.
Yeah, man, it all sounds exciting. But I tell you, the one thing I did want to ask you was, obviously you got a track with Mobb Deep, and obviously legendary hip hop group, the late great Prodigy, and obviously they're both on there. I'm interested to know how that worked in terms of the Prodigy piece, and then obviously Havoc, and actually, figuring out a way to get them on the track.
So, first of all, I knew I had a personal rapport with Prodigy already. Not so much Have, but Prodigy, I had a personal rapport with. Prodigy did the verse for a record for my guy Joey Majors, right? Joey Majors put that record together. Then we said, you know what? We got Prodigy. Let's get Havoc. Let's make it a Mobb Deep record. Like they ain't been on, both of them haven't been on a record in who knows when. It's been a while. That's something that the people. So we reached out to Have. And my guy, shout out to my man PR Dean again, the infamous Fly. My man Nice the Future, who was Prodigy. You know, him and Prodigy was like this. Prodigy used to live with infamous Fly. So we reached out to Have, and they reached out to Have, and Have heard the beat. And obviously he loved the beat, right? You hear what he did on there. Like, he like, yo, when we was at the video shoot, he like, yo, nah, that, damn, bro, that brought me back. And shout out to Thanos Beats, because Thanos, a lot of people think Havoc made that beat. Thanos produced that beat. And, you know, we end up putting Lady, I did the hook first myself. And then I said, my man, shout out Merc Beats. Merc Beats, his wife, Lady Jerz, ended up doing the beat. Ended up doing the hook. And I said, oh, no, that hook smoked my shit. You understand? And then there we have it, you know what I'm saying? And we actually had the footage, you know, obviously you see the video, there's real footage of Prodigy when he did it. The camera was there. So we said, you know what, we're gonna put the authentic footage in there. Havoc loved it. Then, you know, I shot and edited it, me, my man C-Class from Brownsville. That was like a 3-part, it was 3 directors. It was me, C-Class from Brownsville, and my man Fire from Coney Island. We all shot that together in different parts. So when Havoc was rhyming, I threw Prodigy in there just so it could feel like that we was all together again. You know what I'm saying? And it ended up being a real special record, man. That I'm glad that Joey he went in his bag of mind tricks, and he said, and that was a beautiful thing, man. It turned out nice. You fuck with it?
Yeah, because I was like, hold on a second, Mobb Deep. Because I was like, yeah, I know I'm not going crazy. Because I know, like, obviously I was like, am I going crazy? Like, how'd they get Mobb Deep on this? Have Mobb Deep added another member that I have no idea about? But nah, yeah, it worked. And I'm like, for me, it's again, like as a fan, I'm always wary of like posthumous verses coming out after they pass away. Because I look back on Big L's album after he passed away, I don't think they did him service. I actually think they didn't do, not all the tracks were Big L's best work. And so like, I'm always wary, and I'm always like, I always wonder if they would want this to come out. And there's no way to know, obviously. So it's like, that's the only thing that I'm always like wondering is like, would they want this?
Would Prodigy have really wanted to be on that record? You like that, right?
Well, whether the record or they wanted that verse to come out or like, you know, whatever it is, because obviously, you know, you've got that as well. You've got tracks that you've made that you haven't released yet. And if, for example, I was to do a song and like you sent me like a verse and then you pass away, like, okay, it might still be good, but I'm also wary of like, I don't know, there's something different about, you know, when they're no longer there to be able to give their input into a track and the way it's being created. Obviously, Havoc being extremely close helps with Prodigy, but it's just one of these parts of hip hop that I've always kind of thought about.
Yeah. And like I said, we had to be very sensitive about that too, you know, just with the Prodigy's kids and his wife and the estate, you know. Rest in peace to Prodigy, man. Like Prodigy stood up for me one time. I'm gonna give you a story, right? So like I told you, I do camera work at the same time too. I got bored of rapping and I started doing some camera work. So I was on stage. So that footage that you see Prodigy at the end of the video, and you see the footage of Prodigy like going like this when we say we own the night. I was actually on stage with them. That was me. I filmed that footage. That's my footage, right? And at the end of the night, somebody said to me, "Yo, cameraman," and P took that, and they called me "Yo, cameraman," and P took that very offensive. You're like, "Yo, my man ain't no cameraman. My man is a real nigga. Right? Don't be calling on no cameraman." And Prodigy took that to heart. And I appreciated him taking that to heart, but I told him, listen, I know who I am. I am the cameraman, and I will sweep the stage if need be. You understand what I'm saying? But I appreciated Prodigy for saying that, though. You know, it was funny to me because he was ready to wild out about that shit. Don't be calling my man no cameraman, son. Don't be, you feel me? I even got that on camera. So I'm like, damn. You know, you know, that's what Prodigy was. That's one of my favorite P stories. It's like he was like, nah, don't be calling my man no cameraman. You know what I'm saying? He this, he that, he's a drill that. You don't know who this is. And I'm like, yo, bro, but check this out. I am the cameraman, and I'm fine with being the cameraman, and I'll sweep the stage if need be after y'all get done. So that was that. Then me, him.
Yeah. I mean, his book is amazing that he wrote, and he does the audio too. Like, he is larger than life in terms of all the things that, you know, he was, and all the things that he inspired, and all the things that he was talking about. Yeah.
All the things he helped facilitate, all the ideas he was behind and didn't get the credit. Like, yeah, Prodigy was different, man. He was different. Rest in peace to Prodigy, man.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, man, I only have one more question for you, and it's the only question that I plan on the podcast. And I think I've asked you a couple of tough questions, but this might be the toughest one. But if you had to recommend one album that everybody should listen to at least once to get an appreciation of, can be any genre of music, cannot be your own music, what would it be?
One album that I would recommend. It would have to be one album, Illmatic. It would be Illmatic. Huh?
By the great Nas.
Nas is my favorite, bro. Like, besides Nas, the only other person that I want to do a record with is Jay Electronica.
Well,
yeah, Nas and Jay Electronica. And Rock Marcy. I'm not going, Rock Marcy, Jay Electronica, Nas. After that, I'm cool. But I would recommend Illmatic.
Well, I'm sure you can definitely achieve it. As I said, obviously, GREA8GAWD came through. I always appreciate the time that you give me, and obviously working with PR Dean as well help facilitate this. But as we said at the beginning of the show, make sure you check him out. Make sure you support him. Spotify, Mask Man, the single came out. You've also got Wolf Season, the album came out. It's got features with Jadakiss, Benny the Butcher. It's got features from Mobb Deep as well. And the music videos just came out. But, man, is there anything else you wanted to plug before we wrap this up?
I just want to plug that my solo EP, my first ever EP is coming out. It's called God Talk. I want to just give a shout out to the whole God squad, all my God brothers. You know what I'm saying? You know, Thanos, Billionaire Boy Scout, you know, PR Dean, Coach Dean, you know, Joey Majors, Weasel Sims, you know, the rest of the team, man. I just want to, you know, and I really want to shout out everybody that didn't help me, son, because now I don't owe y'all shit. Shout out Aguilar, shout out Hell Rel. You understand? Like, shout out to the people that I could call and they're gonna answer the phone and they're gonna throw the alley-oop without feeling like, damn, if I put their light out, it's gonna make mine shine brighter, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? We God brothers, Allah lovers. We don't snake each other. It's enough for all of us. That's the slogan for the God Squad. You know?
I love it.
And shout out to and one other thing too, I'll just shout out to the whole upstate, everybody that's up top doing what they doing. You know, keep doing what we doing, man, and keep that shit popping, man. You know, Stovey, you know, Benny, the whole Griselda, West Side, all of them. And watch out for the Bars documentary. Buffalo, Albany, Rochester, Syracuse. That's coming out on Finally Focused Films.
There you go. You heard it here first. Great God came through, man. Absolute pleasure.
I appreciate you, man, wholeheartedly, man. Thank you, God.